Welcome to the NVIDIA Omniverse live stream. You better buckle up. This one's going to be pretty crazy, actually. We've had a couple of tech rehearsals with the Moment Factory team, and you are in for a real treat. We're going to showcase Moment Factory and their work in designing immersive events with OpenUSD and digital twins. We have my colleague, Louis, here. Thank you for joining us, Louis.
Hello, how are you?
First of all, I'm so glad you're joining us. This is going to be really fantastic. It's going to be a little roller coaster ride. You guys are really going to enjoy the next hour. So get your questions ready. There was a great blog post recently featuring Moment Factory's work. We'll post that in the chat. Before we begin, we're going to do some quick announcements. The big one, obviously, GTC is back in person. This is super exciting. Lots of people from the NVIDIA team will be there, including myself. I hope many of you there in the community are able to make it. It will be hybrid as well. We're going to have some stuff supporting people who can't attend in person, but we absolutely are planning a lot of fun, a lot of sessions, a great little user group coming together, user group kind of like hangout. So go to nvidia.com/GTC to find out all information. Registration is not open just yet, but it will be opening up soon. So keep your eyes on that page. We'll obviously give updates on the live stream also, but we're all really excited about that. The content coming together is looking amazing. And for those who had the opportunity to come to SIGGRAPH, we obviously had a whole lot of sessions revolved around OpenUSD, and we had our OpenUSD day. So we have those sessions available now for online viewing. We'll post a link for that in the chat. There's some great information, videos, tutorials. Aaron Luck's series is also still available, so you can watch that. It's just a very exciting time in the industry to leverage OpenUSD and learn more about it. There's a great DLI content on it as well. So get up on the latest, though. Check out the stuff we debuted at SIGGRAPH during OpenUSD Day. We also, speaking of USD, we also released during SIGGRAPH our ebook on OpenUSD All-Stars. So some of these names probably look very familiar to viewers of this live stream, including Omniverse ambassadors Michael Wagner, Rafi Nizam. We have some great people in the community there: Ping Fan, Kirill, Vanessa, Benjamin, doing amazing work across different areas. And the All-Star book is a great way to kind of read through it, be inspired, be motivated, and learn and celebrate with the work that all these folks are doing with OpenUSD. So we'll put that link in the chat as well. Related to OpenUSD, obviously, we've been talking a lot about this as well. The Alliance for OpenUSD is super exciting because the number and the exact companies involved. We have Pixar, Adobe, Apple, Autodesk, and of course NVIDIA. We actually are very excited about a new forum that people are using to chat about USD. We'll post that in the chat as well. My colleague Maddie has been posting good updates on LinkedIn and on our Discord server. So we hope that people who are interested in learning more about the Alliance can keep up there, ask any questions. And we do have a USD channel on our Discord server to discuss there as well. And this is wrapping up. We still have some more time. If you've got some work that you want to share and show us like what something looked like when it started and then how it ended up. This is our start to finish community challenge. We have a channel specifically for this on the Omniverse Discord server. So you can go in there and be inspired by what we've been posting there, but also just look online and use that hashtag start to finish. We would love to see what's something you worked on, a project, what it looked like in the very beginning, and then how it ended up. I think it's super inspiring, and share your workflow and any kind of apps you used. It would be really helpful for people to see what you used to create that project. This one on the screen is courtesy of our friend who was on a stream not too long ago, Jay Dizzle, who works over at Nike on materials. And look at all the different apps you use there. Everything from Adobe Photoshop, Substance Painter, Unreal Engine, USD Compose, and Quixel. So very cool. And I think that is the last slide. So I'm going to stop sharing. So Louis, we have a pretty exciting live stream to kick this off. Actually, to really put things in perspective. So I do really mean this. Everyone should buckle up. I'm going to play this video that Moment Factory has provided, and this will really get the party started on the right foot, I think. So let's watch this. And we'll be back in just a couple minutes with Moment Factory. Get your questions ready. Pretty wild. That was
Hello.
amazing. So thank you. Well, so welcome, Arnud and team. How are you guys doing?
Great. We're doing great.
Well, I have to say
Nice.
that is a super compelling video. Really, really amazing. So, and to kind of set things off for people to understand what we're talking about here, you guys have done something super innovative, leveraging USD and Omniverse to basically create an exact replica of your black box, which I believe you are sitting in right now. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
right now we're in the black box,
Okay,
and
awesome.
we're gonna take a tour right after of what the black box is and what we have around us. But yeah, for now, maybe just have a quick introduction, like to have some sort of segue between the video of what we do. There is a how we do it, and then that will lead us to why we made the black box twin, the replica, and how we made it.
Perfect. Okay, so let's start. Let's start by doing introduction. So, Arnard, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then why don't you introduce your coworkers there?
Yeah, starting for myself, I'm a software architect in the first place, and now working with Moment Factory Innovation to lead the team around the OpenUSD and the digital twin in general. So I'm leading an innovation axis at Moment Factory towards this goal, and I'm with
Hi, I'm Frederick. I'm a software developer, and we've been working with USD and Omniverse, as part of the innovation team.
I'm Antoine. I've been working at Moment Factory for around a year and a half, and I've been on the Blackbox project for around 9 months. So
Amazing. Well, thank you all for joining us. I have to say, personally, I've had a lot of fun hanging out with you and some of our warm ups, and
roasting us.
tell you guys have a fantastic team. Speaking of fantastic team, I've brought along my colleague Louis here. Louis here, tell everybody your background and what you do in NVIDIA.
Yep, I work with Omniverse for game developers, and I'm based in Montreal, which is the reason why we got involved with Moment Factory because they're local here in Montreal, and we got involved with them talking about Omniverse and did some sessions with Arnaud to do some brainstorming about how to use USD and be creative and the stuff that they're about to show today. I mean, we were flabbergasted. It's super fun, and you'll be impressed. So very happy that they will share that with us.
It's wild. So we encourage everybody watching at home or at work and on YouTube or on Twitch. Definitely post your questions, your comments and along the way. We're going to try to set aside some time following this live stream to go to the Discord server and join the Community Room 1, which is a channel on a Discord server. So if you have any questions or comments and want to chat afterwards, that's going to be the place to go. So if you're not on a Discord server yet, you should join now because it's a little cooldown period for new users. It is discord.gg/NVIDIA Omniverse. So we'll talk about that at the end of the stream, but we look forward to that as well. All right, so I have to say, like watching, so we get to cover a lot of really cool projects here on the live stream. People doing amazing stuff. But I've never seen anything in close to what you guys are doing at all. And being able to create these amazing human experiences, leveraging the latest technology. And I'm really curious to learn more about your company and talk about like what you're going to be showing today. So how would you guys like to get started?
Sure. Let me present. I'm gonna also enable my camera so you can see my face while presenting.
There you go.
And let's just share my screen. Right.
And big thanks to Amelia and others who are helping back at headquarters with some of the links in the chat. Okay, so here we go. I think we can all see your slides.
Steven is giving a clue about the size of the black box on the chat right now. We have the exact dimension. 60 feet per 40 feet.
Wow.
Well, so talking about Moment Factory. So the question is what we do and how we do it. So you had a vision of what we do as generally in the video, visually at least. In a nutshell, we are a creative studio. We are specialized in the production of multimedia experiences. And we are sort of at the crossroad of live performance, video game, VFX, architecture, scenography, all of that mixed. We are worldwide studio with 400 employees. We've been around for 20 years and 22 years now. And over the course of those years, we've delivered like 525 productions across the world.
Wow.
Of those productions are still in operation right now. And to support that and to represent us worldwide, we have 5 offices like Montreal, Paris, Tokyo, New York, and Singapore. Type of project we deliver, like we have 2 main type of projects. We have shows and we have destinations. Shows stayed for temporary, destinations more for permanent installations, and it can go from 6 weeks project for quick tour or branded event to a more than 5-year operation for some of our main projects. So you have a couple of the example of shows and destination on this slide. Like for instance, we work for teen entertainment or concert, or we also do destinations such as retail, arena, and stadiums and such things. What makes us special, we have 3 main center of competency under the same roof. So we have the content department that is pretty similar to the VFX industry. We have like 3D artists, motion designers, modelers, and so on. We also have an interactive team. They deal with the gaming and the real-time graphics. So we have software architects and creative developers, for instance. And then we have what we call DOT, which is design, operation, and technique. That deals with architecture, engineering, audiovisual. So we have audiovisual designers, CAD drafters, and such. And all those people delivers project together from the initiation to the operation of this project. So we are vertically integrated. We have all the stack to deliver a full project from the ID to the real project and to maintain it through time. Yeah, basically we have initiation, conception, design, production, integration, and operation. Integration is the time where we go on site to build a project, and operation is the time when we support it. Before that, from initiation to production, we work on plan, on CAD, on everything virtual. And all those team, I mean, our team, innovation, we're trying to find new solutions to smoothen the process. And over the course of this timeline, we generate a lot of data, beauty shots, drawings, 3D scans, real-time previews. And we came with that question, like how we can consolidate all this information to foster the creative collaboration. And that's where we started to get interested in OpenUSD and the concept of digital twin. Make sense?
It makes total sense. I think one of the big questions is basically how do you guys collaborate so effectively together? It's just kind of all these moving pieces, and you guys are spread across the world. I guess your projects would probably mostly involve different offices at the same time, or does one office handle one project completely?
The 2 main offices would be Paris and Montreal. Most of our people are based in Montreal, so most of the collaboration happens here, and then we have the international offices. In Paris, we have more expert, like local expert to deliver projects such as technical director that can go on site and integrate. But sometimes we were shipping people from Montreal to help them.
Very cool. We have a great question from Zia Ideas in the chat. Which stage of the pipeline takes the most time that we're looking at on the screen?
Depending on the client. Initiation can take 2 years sometimes. I would say, yeah, we have multiple type of projects. So each of those sections can stretch or grow according to the type of project. So when it is for a permanent installation, for instance, integration can take a long time. So my personal experience would be 6 months in Paris, for instance, like staying in Paris in an hotel and delivering a project. But for a show, sometimes the total course is 6 weeks, and you just spend 1 week integrating on site.
It must be so exciting to work with projects. Like, so one of the I think awesome things about like working in video game development is that when you work on a project, at some point there's a start and an end to it, and people can enjoy it, right? And that's got to be super exciting for the work you do too, because you're basically working against a timeline where at some point you have to let your baby go, and then everybody gets to enjoy it, and you get to step back and watch the fruits of your labor enjoyed by other people. That must be super fun. And how do you mostly engage with some of your clients? They find out about you just because you're a great name, or how do most people get in touch with you for work?
I guess people know us now and tend to visit our installations, whether it is a show or whether it is a Lumina walk, like we do night walk in forest, for instance. And they tend to know us by just our name and getting in touch with us. And sometimes we also answer to projects that are on the market, like generally.
Very cool. And Louis, so at what point did you start working with this great team?
I think it was last year. We got involved, when they were integrating they wanted to integrate all of their tools within the USD pipeline, and we had some early sessions about that. Like I said, we were there to facilitate. There was a lot of question marks around the workflow that they wanted to implement. It was a super interesting workflow, like you said, combining reality capture, CAD, entertainment, 2D, 3D. There's a lot of things to combine. So it was a super interesting and creative project. And that's why, and I think it's not finished yet. We're still evolving with them and understanding what they want to do. And you'll see in the presentation that they've done some really nice extensions that solve like very specific problems in the pipeline. So yeah.
And so what was that impetus? You mentioned USD. We're going to talk about that more throughout the live stream. But so what did USD kind of solve, or what potential did you see in getting this whole thing started with Omniverse?
I guess for the potential we saw is the main issue with this is like to consolidate all the data. Most of this data is 3D, and that was previously we were working with exchanging OBJ, FBXs, and other things, and like moving from one software to the other was a pain. So when you want to share a projection study with someone else, you have to convert that to OBJ, maybe open it, and you're losing information. So I guess USD was tailored for that need in the first place. So that's probably from this, the timeline I'm showing, we started to think about, how we could implement all the phases into OpenUSD somehow, and how we could visualize the entire project and even connect that to the reality. And that's where the Blackbox project came in, because kind of risky to go on an actual project, customer project somehow, with such internal core innovation for our company. So we wanted to find some space that represents what Moment Factory does, involving all the equipment and the general shape of a project, and some space we can replicate for sure, but we can also interact with easily. So the Blackbox is in our office, and we thought, hey, that's pretty good exercise for us to just model it in USD and maybe start to establish links between the replica and the real life.
So in case anyone missed the beginning, like the Blackbox is right behind Arnaud. He's in that room right now. And we had a couple questions about the size, and I think one of your colleagues mentioned it was 40 by 60. Yeah,
40 by 60, and it's a prototyping experimentation space where we have like LED walls. We will present that right after, like just showing around, so people have a better understanding about the space.
And Arnaud, maybe you can explain that USD was layered to assemble multiple aspects of your black box together.
That's a great segue for my next slide. Yeah, so this is a really basic overview of how we build the USD scene. So for a project, we divided into multiple layers. One of them being the venue itself. So the walls of the cathedral or the building. So the space we're barely touching, maybe data that we get from our customer that wants to magnify the building. So we call that venue. And then we have scenography. So the scenography is more furnitures or props, assets that we build, manufacture, design, like the whole process, and that we will bring on site. And then there is the AV layer, audiovisual. So with lighting, projectors, LED wall, or speakers, monitors. And finally, we also aggregate sensors. So LiDAR, or we're using a lot of time of flight cameras such as Kinect. And we try to layer all those pieces into a single project. Make sense?
It's wild. And so a lot of questions coming in. A lot of people are pretty surprised about what you guys are doing or how you've done this. Let me see. Let's get a couple of them at least before we move on. Let me see. So good one. So one of the Omniverse ambassadors in the community, Pekka Varis, has a company called CineShare, and they're doing some really innovative projects with USD as well. And he's asking, have you exported camera work from Omniverse to other software?
The opposite way. So we have our own in-house software that's called Exagora, and we created a connector for it, so we could export like viewpoints into a USD file into Nucleus.
So another way we will present in another extension with a standard called MPCDI that allows to share those data across services.
Go into another question about Vectorworks, I think.
There you go. Does the Moment Factory team use USD workflow implementations in Vectorworks?
That's great for my next slide as well. We have maybe 30, 40 softwares at Moment Factory. And also delivering this black box here was also a way to maybe cut into the software and just limit the number of software, not to focus our effort on some of them. And luckily, Vectorworks was one of them. And it's actively used in the company. So if I take my next slide, this is just how we basically build the black box, like who with what tool. So on the left side, you have like people committing data, like pushing data to the twin, and on the right hand side, you have people manipulating it and viewing it. And we had one person in charge of Vectorworks taking care of the scenographical element, the furnitures and the building. So he's also used to play with Revit or such other software, but he focused on Vectorworks right now. So he was using as well a USD composer to ensure the data were properly ingested. At the center, we have Nucleus that we use as a server for your OpenUSD files. We have another person in charge of everything AV, audiovisual, so projector and lighting mainly for this time. And we have someone from Interactive using IsaacSim to position sensor in the space.
That's wild.
And on the other end, so we've been using a lot USD Composer to visualize the twin, but we wanted to have an alternative, like to present the data in Unreal as well, or to present that in Blender or Photoshop, just to have one person to create beauty shots with from those data, and the beauty shot best example I can give is the poster of the YouTube event announcing the event, like that was created from this person. And myself and Zane, we were just overseeing the process through Nucleus and USD Composer.
Wild. And for Blender fans out there, next week's live stream is going to be focused on Blender. So same time next week, we're going to have Blender Bob on, actually. So curious about Blender workflow with USD, join us for that. This is amazing, though. Lots of other questions, too. It's up to you whether you want to take a couple more or you want to move on.
I see popping a lot of questions, really interesting question. Some of them are going to be answered in the demo.
Yep.
And any case, I think I'm going to stay there after the event if some people want to talk.
On Discord. Okay, cool.
So we'll have time for question at the end, I guess.
Sounds good.
So maybe now time for a little tour.
Let's do it.
So let me just kill my stream, and I should have a way to start the projector behind me. There you go.
Okay. There we go.
So that's the space. On the left, you have the actual space. On the right-hand side, you have the twin that we built in OpenUSD and that we look through USD Composer right now in real time.
It's wild.
So maybe just have a small panoramic of the space so people can understand. And Antoine is going to fly around live in the space as well, mimicking the same moves.
Wild.
So that's the experimentation space of Moment Factory. And yeah, we have a lot of gear, including projectors. So behind me, but also up there. We also have lightings, a lot of them, so replicated in the twin as well. Unfortunately, we're not 100% accurate because the black box is moving every day. And we also have sensors, two different, we have more, but today we're going to present LiDARs. So we have LiDARs in the corner right there. And yeah, and also just below the LiDAR, we have ultra wideband beacons. It's another type of tracking.
Wild. And this space is used pretty much daily, right? It seems like.
This space is used daily, yeah. Like we see, we have storage on the side with a lot of gear coming in and out. And we have two people from our team like taking care of shaping the space for projects, just for our creative team to be able to view a fragment of the projects we deliver. And they have to organize the space and cut it sometimes into sections because we have one product in this corner, another in this one. Today, we're lucky we have the entire space for us, actually. Maybe just go to the next slide, Antoine. So, and yeah, that ends up the tour. And now we wanted to show a little demo of the live interaction between those spaces. So we have a couple of interaction. Maybe you can zoom in on the screen. Today we will connect lighting fixture from one end to the other, from the real black box to the twin. I'm gonna connect video projectors. So the stream, the video of the projector is gonna replicate in the twin. And we're gonna connect sensors, not straight the sensor, but the interpretation of what the sensor information gives So object position replicated in a black box twin. Yes. So yeah, we turn the light on, and now the lights in the black box are replicated in the twin on the right hand side. We have a couple of drawings that are going to show precisely how we did that. So if you change a couple of cues just to change the lighting, so we have a little delay, but
That's awesome. How long did it take to build the black box in Omniverse? Was that very long?
maybe a month and a half.
Okay, not too bad.
Just for the modeling part.
Mhm.
And then there was all the connection we created. So it was related to the fact that we were creating extension at the same time. So the total project started maybe in May or something. And now we're today with all those connections created.
Okay, we have a very technical question. I'll put it on the screen because it's super deep. How the heck did they hook that up? Very impressive. People are pretty shocked. Very cool. I posted earlier, Tim Riha. Also very curious about some of the hardware you guys are using in terms of projectors. And Zia is asking right now, do you guys have a preferred CAD package that you use?
So for this project, we were using Vectorworks and tried to export straight in USD from Vectorworks. On other projects, I couldn't answer. Kevin, with the small head on the drawing before, could answer that question.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we can definitely, if anything we can answer during the live stream today, hit out in the Discord or in the follow-up chat on one of the Discord channels. But very, very wild. So cool, and it is pretty. It's pretty instant. It only took a couple seconds to update in real time on the twin side of things. What kind of hardware are you using in terms of the computer itself?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
The type of hardware you're using on the computer.
Oh,
So this computer has an RTX A6000 right
Nice.
now, and it is a singular desktop basically. So
for my part, I reviewed the entire project on the laptop, actually.
Wild. That's awesome. Very cool. Let me see. And Zia is asking, I'm assuming this is yes, but can you track people or objects in this space as well?
The next demo.
All right. That's probably also related. You capture body motions as digital twin in real time for product launch, for example.
Same answer.
All right. Okay, very cool. Wow, let me see. I'm trying to scroll back and see. Louis, did I miss anything? Oh, here's one regarding Isaac. This is so interesting. Wondering how you use the Connect in this and how you matched it in Isaac Sim.
Oh, right now there is no Kinect in this demo, but yeah, most of the time we use Kinect with whether it is Touch Designer or Unity or Unreal to create experiences. So, like hooking Kinect to this demo wouldn't be that complex because at the very end you have a point cloud with the Kinect, so it's pretty similar to the type of data that LiDAR gives. So it's pending. We're thinking about like implementing Kinect into our software that we're going to show after.
Very cool. I got this other nice question from Tim Riha. What is your technology stack for the LED volume? Are you running Disguise, Pixeltope, or other?
We have our own. It's called Hexagora. It's an internal product that you have two developers of that product here today. And we also use these guys. We also use Pixera, 7 Sense, Watch Out, many of them.
And we got a question from Data Juggler. Is most of the code Python or C++?
Depends. We mainly started with Python because that was the quickest way to implement our extensions, but we're slowly moving into C++ for performance reasons from mostly some of the extensions that we'll demo a bit later.
Thank you. Very cool. Okay, I think we're caught up with most of the questions. We can hit some of the other ones afterwards if you want to move to the next portion.
So next portion was to demonstrate the video, live video. So we are using a lot of NDI here at Moment Factory. It's a really cool way to just carry signal in IP. So we're just going to enable the signal from the projector to reach the twin. So now my presentation is in the twin as well. And if I just come back to my desk, I can prove we're live. Whoops. So my window is gonna be replicated. And maybe you could show your face on the stream for a while. So maybe move the camera in the live stream, Antoine. Like Edmar, could you appear on the screen? Like so you can be with us today.
Yeah. I should really.
So yeah, you are live with us and in the twin as well. Louis is there as well. And again, we have details about how we made this with NDI. So now we connected lighting and video, and now it's time to answer the question about the tracking.
And you can have multiple streams of video, right, Arnaud?
Yeah, we can have multiple stream, and it's actually ray traced. We just added a torus in the scene, so you can just see it's not only flat surface, it's projected through an actual light, and so it allows us to simulate the real lighting of a project. Let's say you have a tree, you could have a shadow. We started to play with fog as well and such.
That is wild. We got. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, do you also test your projection mapping, bring in like reality capture 3D objects, and then project on those reality captured object to test the projection mapping?
Through this pipeline. But yeah, that's the type of thing we do, yeah.
A question from Tim. Are you testing nerfs?
Not through Omniverse yet, but we have another initiative working with nerfs. More specifically on the content side, like they're still exploring with how they can look, how we can use that creatively. And at some point, we're going to meet together to see if we can use the nerfs as a source for 3D scan, for instance. But most of the time, when we make a 3D scan of a space, we go with like specific gear for that.
Here's one from Eric. Do you use NDisplay or do you all that with bespoke code?
Yes, NDisplay for real-time content has been used. For instance, like if you go on our website, there is a project at AT&T in Dallas where we have a 24 hours of rendering with NDisplay, with content capsule of 1 hour. One of them is 8 hours. Full body sensor suit, that's a really good question. So what we try to achieve, and that's the hard part, is to have no marker or as less marker as possible, which means, yes, we use suit when we want to pre-produce animations, but when we go in a destination, like we want the experience for the visitor to be somehow seamless. So that's why we're really interested in AI and tracking without any markers and such.
Thank you for that. And we have a question from Krishna. What is the latency?
Or which latency, because there is latency in every aspect of this. Maybe for the video feed.
He's probably, I'm sure he's referring to the Blackbox to the Omniverse screen.
Yeah, we haven't measured exactly, but I guess it was a couple of frames, maybe 4.
About a couple of frames, but again, it's an issue with Python that it's not as optimized for real time. So that's one of our next step is to move that extension into C++. So hopefully that'll help. But for now, we haven't measured, but it's okay. At least for one stream. But as soon as we had like 2, 3, or 5, start to get more and more latency.
Okay, another question from Tim. Are you integrating tools like image-based lighting, ghost frame tools?
Doesn't ring a bell for me.
All the light you see in the twin are actual like rendered light, and the feed as well.
Okay, I think we're caught up on most of the questions, I think. And thanks to Steven, I think, from your team helping out in the chat as well. Gold star for you, Steven. Very cool. And so tell me about where do you guys see the future of this? You guys have done a lot very quickly, it seems like, with OpenUSD. What's kind of on the next what are the next hurdles or challenges you're looking to tackle?
I guess we've been doing this replica and trying to have a full proof of concept of what we want to achieve. And I guess the next step is to rewind and replay those steps and try to improve all of those. For instance, the projector, we still have a lot of things to figure out in terms of how do we ingest that into the process. Right now, the extension we made for the projector is in Python. It's not native USD. And I guess what we want to reach is being able to deliver a USD plugin, like an actual DLL, to solve that issue. Like not have to go through Omniverse to make that conversion, but more being able to deliver the final file for the projector to everyone, and for people to be able to interpret that into USD straight. That's one of the projects we have.
Yeah, because for most of our extensions, what we do is we ingest the data, we convert it, and then use them into USD. But one of our objectives is to have it like natively understood by USD, so we don't have to go through that conversion step so they can be displayed in Omniverse.
Very interesting. And actually, this along the same kind of thinking, what were some of the unexpected errors that occurred going from real to sim? I'm sure you guys hit a couple of those along the way. You blocked them out of your memory.
For this one, there is a lot. Yeah, of course. I mean, when you want to be 1-for-1, first thing is going to be the visual. So on the stream, it's different because you have the image from a camera that is maybe different color calibration, but like having the exact same lighting treatment with the reality is a big challenge. So I guess it's a bit the same thing. Like Omniverse put a lot of effort on the meters per unit and the size and the scale of things. And I guess we need to find a way to have the best light we can have to replicate the physical space, for instance. You want to answer the question as well?
An issue we had was with scaling. So connecting all of the tracking softwares and the geometry and the different software we use was different scaling. So if we're moving objects in one software, then the units were not exactly the same as Omniverse. So we had to do a lot of conversion, mostly everywhere, for that. So
general performance in terms of when we want to connect multiple objects, moving objects in real time. So the first would be to go to Python, but at some point it's a bottleneck because Python is not efficient enough for hundreds or thousands of objects. So that's where we started to find workarounds and such.
Yeah, question from Pekka. So designers use USD Composer also to art direct the Blackbox room?
Yeah, we try through the project. We try to give the same vision of the project through USD Composer, so at least everyone could have the same window on the project. And what I showed on the previous slide was the fact that we had also Unreal Engine pumping the data from Nucleus or Blender to extract other type of beauty shots or shots in general.
Very cool. And question from Eric. Can we touch on the integration between the black box and the target space? And, I don't know if Eric, you want to get more specific there.
Yeah, I'm not sure I get the point of this question.
Okay, yeah. Feel free to follow up on that, Eric, and we will.
The drawing's gonna answer that, I guess. If you want to understand more, like the connection between the two spaces.
Zia is asking, can we use this to expand live theater experiences despite being in a limited space?
Yes and no. So we have multiple innovation axes here at Moment Factory, and for sure one of them explores also alternative way to expand space and experience through virtual spaces. But yeah, in this project, we're just somehow building the foundation to help that type of project to emerge.
Here's a question from Sirens. Did you use Isaac Sim and Linux to integrate the LiDAR?
You want to answer this one?
The part of it, but we're running on Windows because it's the hardware we have here. But we're using Windows with Isaac as well, yeah, for the lidars.
This is a great question. Is this digital twin as adaptable to manufacturing factory, for example, to industrial robots? Have you guys thought about that?
So one of the main selling point for Isaac, that's exactly that, with the industrial robots, lidars, and all the camera stuff.
Another question from Eric. Do you use Omniverse to collaborate with clients? And yeah, looks like yes.
So yeah, that's one point we want to reach at some point. Like, I guess this project was kept internal right now, just for people to get in touch with USD, with Omniverse, like at many levels, like the IT department, the developers, everyone was involved. And for sure, the final goal would be to be able to expose those twins to the customer.
And another question from Zia. What kind of LiDAR do you prefer?
Should I name drop brands?
Feel free.
I think there's only one that works with our setup in Isaac, so the one that works.
we built an extension for it, so you can check this question.
I think it Auster 1. No, is it 1 or 2? Steven can answer that one. It's either OS1 or OS2 or maybe both.
All the product line, but we also have Velodynes, but they're being bought by Aster. So.
Okay, and Zia, another great question, because obviously USD is such a big thing and very layered. So what parts of the USD format were challenging?
Want to touch around the integration of his own extension?
So developing with like OpenUSD, the hardest part was understanding like the build system and what was necessary to make plugins for it. So making a file format plugin, for example, was pretty difficult, not because of like the complexity of it, but because of the documentation and all the resources that are like spread apart. So that was one of the harder parts that was difficult to understand. So.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. And we have another question from Krishna, he's wondering like how regular users who maybe don't have the resources that Moment Factory has would be able to do something like this. Obviously, doing this type of setup is pretty involved, but so it's something more simple.
Not everything is open source, but we have like free extension released on our GitHub, like github.com/momentfactory. So, and there are issues. You can post issues and ask questions if you like.
Amazing. Another great question from Tim. So Tim's background is actually a great video production, virtual production. He's got a great setup. Definitely want to have him on a live stream soon, Tim, as well. But Tim's asking, does this have a mobile device AR experience model to extend this to mobile AR experience mapped to a live event?
Yeah, we started experimenting with VR recently in Omniverse, and we have other projects dealing with AR. But I guess it's not currently a goal for our next steps to go AR, especially on mobile.
Zia is kindly posting that GitHub link for everybody, so make a note of that. Maybe get a tattoo so you don't forget it.
Okay, let's switch to the because people were wondering about tracking.
Yeah.
So first demo is with the lidars. Antoine's gonna show quickly one software we've developed. Steven answering the question developed it with another team, which is Cirrus, and it deals with point cloud and can merge multiple point clouds real time into one single space and extract data from that. And when we fetch those data and put that into Omniverse, we have those little puppets moving around.
Oh, that's wild.
It looks like it's a bit glitchy, but on our end, it's running 25 FPS.
Yeah, it's probably just in the streaming. Looks very cool.
One way of doing so in this case, yeah, it's markerless, and of course we are still experimenting to have better recognition of human pose and so on. But we have also an alternative that is beacons. So with the ultra wideband system, basically it's like a GPS for indoor use. So if we bring that little object here, we have a beacon at the top of it. So it's got it's right now tracked in real time with orientation and everything.
Crazy.
So we can replicate what's happening in the space.
Open the box.
One for one.
I'm just kidding. Don't open the box. All right, we got a good question from Zia. Can you guys do hand tracking? That seems. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, it's really on purpose. Wait. On us. For hand tracking, yeah, it's not something we typically link with Omniverse right now, but that's really something we do in projects. Like we have any kind of interaction from a regular RGB cameras to Kinect to lidars to OptiTrack systems, and many of them.
Okay, and more specifically, Christian was asking how were you guys just tracked just by the cameras?
Lidars, and then the other software that Antoine showed you, it's our internal software called Cirrus, and it tracks the point cloud and create blobs, and then we send those blobs back into Omniverse to track ourselves. The other box we're using, there's a tracker on the box, and that is like handled by a server and then sent back into Omniverse. We have slides for that. that explain a bit more in depth, like how the data is like passed through.
I just share my screen with a little drawing. So maybe you want to explain that?
So our current setup for the tracking is using the in-house software called Cirrus, and then we send data to our desktop, and we made a Python connector that forwards the position using the live mode of USD Composer. So live mode allows us to track multiple objects and without really hogging down the performance of USD Composer. So it's all external. And yeah.
We're getting requests for a copy of your deck afterwards. So. But everyone who's watching, so these live streams are available for viewing afterwards also. You can always rewatch it.
Screenshot us.
Screenshot it. Okay, so we got, let me see. Here's a good comment from question from Pekka. The goal is to not use a green screen keying for real persons in Blackbox. Is that correct?
Background is just a coincidence.
Yeah.
So
okay.
we're using LiDAR.
Things in the black box as well. That's why we have a green screen.
Okay, and I guess someone's asking, is Cirrus something that is licensable? If I'm understanding that correctly.
Yeah, I guess we're not openly sending it, but some other studio asked us for a license, just not advertised anywhere.
You heard it here, folks. It's available everywhere now. Okay, so all right, so very cool. So we're about at the top of the hour. I wanted to see if you guys, so we can keep going. If you guys want to keep, if you have another portion you want to show, or we can move over to the Discord server. Totally up to you guys.
If we have more questions for the technical side, we have other drawings for NDI and such.
Oh, right. We want to show the extensions too, right?
Yeah, we can show the extensions too. Just as an intro, that's what you can have on our GitHub. So the three we released, I'm not even sure that this one it's public on GitHub, but maybe not in the extension store. But yeah, we have the one for the video projector data, the one for streams with NDI. The LiDAR simulator is not used here. It's more something that allows us to connect Cirrus to IsaacSim. And last, we're still developing is something that can ingest in USD a database of lighting fixtures and all the lighting fixtures in the world somehow. Being able to view that in USD and get the data from them.
Amazing. I think it's so great you guys are building these extensions. I'll follow up with Paul and his team to see about that third extension there, if we can get it on the exchange. Very cool. I really can't thank you guys enough for putting this together and sharing all this. Really amazing. I think giving people a lot of ideas. It's really clear why you guys are so good at what you do. Very, very talented team. Let me see. So it did. Was there another part of the presentation you want to show? Or did you guys want to move over to the Discord server?
As you like. You still have time, or you have a meeting after. You want to quickly demo NDI because there is a question for NDI. So maybe I'm gonna.
Yeah, basically NDI
sharing.
is a protocol to transfer video over network. So I don't know if you want to show. We have the screen all right. So where are the extensions? Maybe show the exchange. So as we've partnered with NVIDIA, we have our extensions available directly into the exchange. So that allows you, if you install them from there, to have them pre-installed into your Omniverse applications. So that includes Composer, the viewer, and code. So if you go back to Composer. You have here particularly for the NDI extensions. So we made a little UI that allow you to create dynamic materials. So these are textures that take a path. Or maybe show the actual texture on the stage. So you into NDI looks. So they're texture, but instead of taking a path to a PNG or a JPEG, you prefix it with dynamic :/ and then an ID, and that our extension can use that to feed a stream.
So awesome.
Thanks, Stephen.
So wild. Where is Steve? We got to get him on camera one day. He's hiding.
Yeah, Stephen, come running in. He's like in the other room over there. Show your face. Yeah, he's gonna be there in 30 seconds.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, it's lots of interest, obviously, from people watching the stream right now.
Well,
pretty,
maybe we can showcase one last thing.
Yeah,
the
please.
action graph we created, because all the data is handled through, all the data that comes through Omniverse is handled through action graphs. And they're quite simple, but they're still fun to see.
Ah, look at that. I had to put that on screen for everybody to see. He's a little shy.
Steven, come on. So yeah, it's taking a bit of time.
Yeah, so Pekka just wants to clarify. So you can stream live video to Composer. Yeah.
Yeah. So like we do with the, oh no, we can't see it anymore. So yeah, most of the messages are passed through OSC, the OSC protocol, and we use another extension that was made by, I think it's Justin Shrake. He made an OSC extension that we use to gather all the data we receive, and then we parse it, and usually they simply end up into an attribute, right attribute node, or to set an XForm data. So what Antoine is showing right now is our graph, and they get a bit, well, they're still simple compared to other Unreal graphs I've seen. But then that next one is for ultra wideband, and we're basically receiving the data, converting it to the right format, and then writing to a prim. So here we have two ways: one for the translate XForm operation, and one for the rotation XForm operation. So that's what Anton is showing.
Amazing.
That's about it.
Amazing. Okay, so we got a question here from Zia. He's curious about how much time do you spend on previs for large projects? Like I think he gave the example of lighting a bridge in real life. I guess, like you said earlier, it kind of depends on the client, right?
I couldn't answer for the previous team and the production team generally in charge. So it's not for every project we do it. It really depends. And I guess one of the challenge here is how many previs you want to do. Like it's like iterating onto those previs is quite difficult, because you have to pump all the assets into all the departments and get something accurate, which means this process we try to limit the number of time we make a previs for a project, and sometimes it happens late in the process, which means it's just in production, for instance, when we are pretty sure that the product is not going to move too much.
Question. The NDI all goes through the NDI protocol, so you can't play MP4 video through our extensions, but the the technology we use within Omniverse could play MP4 format with the
LC as a plugin for NVI, OBS as well. So if you want to play back something, you can, but you can also share your screen or anything. So it's pretty flexible.
Looks like Steven has already answered this. There you go. Steven is the star of the show here.
In the show.
Let me see. Here we go. Renan. Very cool. So, so what are you guys working on next? What's the next big project that you're allowed to share publicly?
Actual project. Maybe Céline will answer that. But Les Invalides in Paris. You need to visit Les Invalides. Like, it's a beautiful building, and we're opening a show. I guess it's in September. Like, I don't know which date exactly, but through the course of the month, maybe early October. Information is on the website.
I'm going to paste that link here in case anybody didn't see it. So here, I'll put it on the screen. It's actually pretty easy to remember because it's just momentfactory.com. But there it is for prosperity. Very cool. All right. So how would everybody feel like hanging on Discord for a few minutes and opening up some people's mics and webcams? And
I can stay, and if you're willing to stay as well.
and answer all of your burning questions.
We'll
Awesome.
free Steven from...
Yeah. Steven, you are released. Thank you guys so much. This is really, really fantastic. And I really can't thank you all enough for sharing all of this great wisdom and just the work you guys are doing is just really fascinating and exciting. I'm gonna get a plane trip to Paris this weekend. I gotta check this out. I'll report back next week on my my trip.
We've had a lot of fun working it on USD and Omniverse on our side as well. So
that's awesome. And I may ask one quick question actually before we go. Where do you guys see, like, so USD is an evolving thing. Alliance of OpenUSD was only recently announced. Where do you want things to go, or what kind of where do you see things headed with USD? What would you like to see?
I guess we're still we're a big studio, but we're small in terms of what we can develop, in terms of what we can provide to the USD community. So I guess some other people are going to take their part into this journey. For instance, for architecture, we're probably not going to work on Revit plugin and such. We're going to wait for all the market to be ready for that. But yeah, what we're trying to do is to be in sync with what's available and just to propose what's missing and what is the core of our business. So that's why we got interested in the protocol that are pretty niche and specific to what we do. And like, that's the piece of effort that we are able to put. But yeah, I guess like being able to bridge all the software together would be great for us. Like, have a support for materials would be great. Maybe have a support for like something like OmniGraph, which would be standard into USD, would be great as well. Something that could move from one software to the other, like to just bring logic from one software to the other.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So great.
And I just want to point out something important is that Arnaud started in the Montreal area some gatherings with USD interested people. So I think it's maybe Arnaud, you want to comment about that, but that's pretty cool for the Montreal community that is involved in USD.
Yeah, we have a Slack channel on the ASWF Slack. It's called USD Community Montreal. So if you want to exchange with us, just join us on Slack.
Yeah, the first meeting was in the Blackbox.
Oh, really?
Yeah. With now we have the improved version with tracking, but it was just lighting and control and projection at that time. I'm going to share the link for SWF Slack.
Fantastic. Where are you posting that in the private chat? Oh, he's looking for. I think he's looking for the actual link.
Quick Google.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Is this it? Well, that's not it actually.
Yes,
That's just a note.
that's yeah. I got a link. Or SWF Slack on Google works.
Okay, I see it. I'm copying. Here we go. All right. Let me just display it so everybody can see it. There we go. Thank you so much. Let's head over to the Omniverse Discord server so we can continue the conversation for a few minutes, and then promise to let you go. But thank you so much for preparing all this fantastic material. Thank you for all the work you've been doing. Louis, thank you so much for nurturing and making sure that there's good collaboration happening with teams. Really, really exciting to see these kinds of results and to see your stuff out there in the public like this. And really honored to have you on here sharing this technology. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us. See
Anytime.
you on Discord. See you on Discord.
Thank you.
Thank you. Look at that. Nice zoom out. We'll end on this little picture. Okay. Bye, everybody. See you on Discord.